Welcome to Psalm 13. The Lord listens to the afflicted. To the telos, I have director. This is a very difficult word to deal with. I have to go to my Little and Scott. There's a dictionary, can barely pick it up. Little and Scott. It's the end all of all the dictionaries you go to from Greek words into English. And just to show you what's inside, I can hardly hold it up. There's the page, and I'll get it somewhat out of focus there, but one whole page is dedicated to the word telos, 5056. It has numerous different possible English words that could be used for that word, somewhat like 4160 for the verb to do, to be, to do, to act, to sacrifice, and it depends on the context, and here it depends on the context, but we don't get much of a context here. It says eis to telos, for the director, or to the director, the telos. In the book, it also means a coming to pass, or a performance, or an event. So that that was the case with this meaning here, it would be for the event. And there was also, the telos is a supreme power, the final authority. A magistrate, or an office, and that's why I put the director, to the director, for the director. And also, it's a decision, a doom. Then it's also a task, a service, or a duty, depending on the context. And a service to do to God is a telos. It's service by citizens is a telos. It's a financial means or an expenditure, the telos, the expenditure, a military station, and also at last, or the end, the completion, the telos, the end. That's why it could be for the end, which I don't see that here. So with that, just give you an idea on the possible meanings of the word telos. Psalmos, we know, is a psalm to David. And then he cries out here for 4 verses. And we can understand the crying out because I'm sure we have cried out to God. For how long, O Lord, will you forget me? It's when you're going through problems, it's like, is the Lord paying attention? Are you there? Hello? I'm going through all these problems. Are you just not letting me go and wallow in the problem? Are you going to forget me unto the telos? Or the end is what I believe is the best word for the telos there. For how long do you turn your face from me? You're not paying attention to my problem. You're not solving my weakness or my sickness or my thing that's causing me to be upset or to be sad or be a despair. All sorts of problems we can be going through and you could be going through. Until what time or when shall I set plans in my soul? When can I go along with my life with the way I would like it, instead of being afflicted all the time? With griefs in my heart night and day? Do I have to have this all the time? And I was in terrible pain over a month ago with my hip. And it was like, boy, night and day. It was just terrible. And I cried out to God. And I had to go through quite a bit of suffering, physical suffering. And but the Lord healed me through the surgeon. And then David continues and he says, for how long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Well, you may have an enemy. I don't know of anybody that's my enemy. I don't look at people as being my enemy. I'm in a small town. People don't even care probably who I am. But if you are somebody that is being attacked by an enemy, then you can relate to this verse, verse 2. And then David continues, look upon, hear me, O Lord my God, in the imperative. Look and hear. Let's see what's going on with me, Lord. Please, hear me. Hear my prayer. Do something. Enlighten my eyes, lest at any time I should sleep in death. Give me life, basically. Lest at any time my enemy might say, I prevailed against him. And the ones afflicting me shall exult if I should be taken away. So this is David crying out. But in 5, he changes in his lists what he's going to do about it. This brought in a little study that I did just in the book of Matthew with Jesus and the affliction that he suffered and that occurred to him. It was predicted in Isaiah 53, a man of sorrows, being afflicted. But Jesus, and think about yourself, were you afflicted from birth? Maybe some people were, but Jesus was. Herod was out to kill him when he was a baby. Mary and Joseph had to flee to Egypt. That's in Matthew 2. Then after he grew up and he went into the ministry, the first thing that happened that mentions in Matthew 4 is the devil came and tempted him in different ways. Now, I have not had the devil take form and come right to me and tempt me in the way that the devil did. And the devil, as good as he is at doing what he's doing and knowing our weaknesses, tried to break down Jesus. And it's a story that's in Matthew, but it's, when you think about it, the horribleness of somebody coming and attacking you. And here you're just getting ready to go out in your ministry and the enemy. So he had an enemy, and his enemy was the devil. Then after that, in Matthew 9, he was attacked by the Pharisees who wanted to trip him up, cause problems. So the religious people, so now you grow up and you're attacked by enemies, and then you're trying to do something good. You go into a ministry and you're attacked by people around you that are in the ministry. Could be like in I forgot the name of the word, a monastery, where you're there and somebody attacks you in the monastery. It could be in a church or a synagogue or whatever. And so the Pharisees attacked Jesus. Then in the next chapter, 10, it says, then affliction was coming to the disciples. So all the people now he gathered together, friends, and then all of a sudden, all these clerical people are going to attack all of your friends. And that's upsetting. If you have people you really love and here everybody around is attacking them, well, that's disconcerting to say the least. And to the point where Jesus tells the people that see these things in Matthew 11, lift my yoke upon you, for my yoke is light, my burden is light. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. And I will give rest to your soul. Then next chapter 12, the Pharisees then seek to destroy him in his healing the man with the withered hand. And then in Matthew 14, he goes to the city of where he grew up, and the people there don't believe anything about him. He mentions that how a prophet is without honor except in his fatherland and in his own house. So we see here the people of his fatherland, his own city, and the people of his house. Brothers didn't believe him. So here you're doing all these wonderful things, and you're showing people miracles, and then your own family turns against you, which is in Matthew 12. Then he continues, and in Matthew 16, 20, and 26, he foretells his death. He knows what's going to happen to him, how he's going to die horribly, and foretells this death. Can I foretell my death? Do I know when I'm going to die? If I did, it would be pretty horrible knowing when it's going to happen. And it's when the time gets very close, it would really be horrible, especially with Jesus, because he says that he went to the Garden of Gethsemane and had agony. And that's in Matthew 26. And he cried drops of blood. Now, this is all just in Matthew. I didn't do Mark, Luke, and John. You find out way more things that he suffered. And then, after being in agony and knowing what's going to happen to him, he is confronted by his chosen disciple, Judas Iscariot, who betrays him and brings the soldiers to arrest him. So your friend, one of your closest friends, turns against you and tries to do you in. It just gets worse. Then they haul you off, arrest you, and take you in to the religious people, the high priest. And what do? Do they believe you? No, they spit on him. And then they buffeted him, hit him, and slapped him in the face in Matthew 26. And all these things were going on. And then, make it even worse, one of his closest disciples, Peter, ends up denying him 3 times while he's there watching the proceeding of Jesus being beaten and so forth. So Jesus now has to see somebody that he loves denying him. It'd be like if your husband or wife or best friend or somebody turned against you and said all kinds of bad things about you and didn't know who you were and turned against you, basically. And then, after that, he's going in to sent by the clergy to the unbelievers. So here you are doing all these wonderful things, and the people that you're trying to help send you to somebody that doesn't believe in God. And this man finds you innocent, but he doesn't let you go. But instead he listens to the Jews who condemn you to death. Crucify him, crucify him. His blood be upon us and our children, in Matthew 27. So he's taken out. And then he's scourged, whipped in the back with a whip. And then they make a crown of thorns, and they put it on his head, press it down, blood's coming out, and his back is all beaten. They spit on him, and they beat him on the head with a reed. I think when it says they covered his head in Matthew 27, and they dragged him for I don't know how long, quite a ways, couldn't hardly walk, and they get him to the Golgotha, and they nail him to a cross, crucify him as nails through his hands and through his feet. Torture, basically, the worst kind of torture. He hangs there, and so what are the people? They come and look at him, and they start blaspheming him in Matthew 27, saying all sorts of things. If you're God, you should do this and this. And then the chief priests come, the scribes and the elders, and says in Matthew 27, and they mock him. If you're God, then come on down from the cross, and then we'll believe you. All these things have happened to him, and all of a sudden he cries out, my God, why have you abandoned me? And he was abandoned to die, but the resurrection comes next. But all these terrible things happen to Jesus. Imagine if we had to go through all the things that Jesus had to go through. I can't imagine what a torturous life. But yet he was able to go through it. He obeyed the will of the Father. He died and rose up because he loved us, the ones that believe in him. And it says that he will find a place for us. And so this is what Jesus says, and the rest of the psalm, I believe we can cry out knowing what Jesus went through. And it says, "But I hoped upon your mercy. My heart shall exult over your deliverance." Jesus is delivering us, saving us from what he had to go through. "I shall sing to the Lord, benefiting me," and we do. I shall sing to the Lord, to the one benefiting me, the one that's doing good to me. I'm going to sing to him. And I do. I sing to the Lord Jesus. "And I will strum to the name of the Lord the highest." And David knew how to strum. I don't. Many people out there do. And strumming to the name of Jesus. So instead of being brought down, we are going to be resurrected from the dead, but we have to go through the affliction. This is what it's all about. Now, you can say, well, why do I have to go through affliction? Why do these things happening? Well, it happened to Jesus. So that's the answer right there. If God determined it to happen to Jesus, which is worse than probably any of us will go through, instant martyrdom would be easy. But he went through all of this. And so we will have to go through tough times, through affliction. Anybody that says that you're going to be wealthy and healthy and wise, everything is good is going to go to you, the health and wealth people, and they are so far wrong. Sort of like I mentioned in the last chapter about the clergy telling you lies. Don't listen to them. The affliction is for us all. Paul goes into that in other places as we see. Next chapter, don't have the next psalm. I don't have the heading, so I'm not exactly sure what it is, but you'll find out if you join us in Psalm 7. Until then, God bless.